Yes, hello friends, good evening. Am I audible? Please somebody ping me. Yes guys, am I audible? Please somebody ping me so that I can start the session. Yes, Seema, hello. Yes, Abhijit, good evening. Jenny, good evening. Hello Sonali. Sorry, Soma. Hello everyone. Welcome to Unacademy, India's largest online learning platform. Let's crack UPSC CSE English. Now, before I start the session, let me introduce myself for the people who are new on the platform or who are attending my session for the first time. My name is Alok Ojha. I've done my engineering from Pune. I have been associated with the field of UPSC since past 7 years. I hold the experience of giving serious SSB twice. I also hold the experience of exams like CAPF Assistant Commandant and Uttar Pradesh PSC. I'm involved into the field of teaching since past 5 years and I've mentored more than 10,000 aspirants for UPSC. Now, today we are going to study socio-religious reform movement, which is majorly factual in nature. And the questions majorly also crop up from this sections. So here we cannot avoid this section and specific focus needs to be there on this section as well. Now, there might be question in the mind of an aspirant why one should prefer Unacademy as a platform for online learning. First of all, you will have daily life classes on the Unacademy platform. Unacademy offers you assimilation of top and dynamic educators of India on a single platform. You can directly interact with the educators. You can clear all sorts of doubts with the educators. Second most important aspect, Unacademy helps to build up your competence by going through live tests and quizzes. And all the courses on Unacademy platform are highly structured in nature and there is a proper timetable through which the courses are being conducted. And one can have unlimited access to the courses on Unacademy platform. Here are the few top and dynamic educators of India from whom you are going to learn through. Now, Unacademy covers the syllabus in a very comprehensive manner. There is a proper focus on each and every aspect of GS. Like there is a proper focus on history, geography, polity, economics, science and tech, current affairs. Apart from that, there is a proper focus on answer writing techniques as well. Unacademy also covers a wide range of optional subjects as well. Like humanities optional like philosophy, psychology, sociology, public administration and so on. Apart from that, it also covers various literature optionals like Hindi literature, Kannada literature, Maithili literature, English literature and so on. Now there is also something called as iconic subscription. Now what is majorly iconic subscription all about? During the initial days, the preparation is completely haphazard and aspirant is majorly confused about what should I read, where should I start my preparation from, what approach needs to be developed for the current affairs, what strategy needs to be followed. So please do not worry. There would be a mentor who would be guiding you throughout your journey for civil services preparation. So if you choose me as your mentor, please use my code AKOUS or SP Ojha. These are the batch courses that are starting 6 months, 1 year, 2 year and NCERT specific batch courses. Now Unacademy has come up with Unacademy Combat. Now majorly it is 45 minutes, 60 questions and there would be a relative scoring. And it will be held on 28th of Feb, 11 AM. And there are exciting prizes as well involved here. Yes, Pragya, good evening. Soha, good evening. Anupama, good evening. These are the special courses conducted by me previously. So please do subscribe to Unacademy and use my code SP Ojha or AKOUS. Yes guys. Today we are going to start with one of the most dynamic topics, that is Renaissance and socio-religious reform movements. Okay, Now let's talk about the Renaissance in quite depth and detail. Majorly, we are going to study the points from the perspective of prelims exam. Okay, guys? We are majorly going to study the topics from the perspective of prelims exam. Now let's talk about Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Debendranath Tagore and Keshab Chandra Sen. Now what is Renaissance all about? Let us understand this. Renaissance basically means revival or rebirth. Revival or rebirth Revival or rebirth of traditions, ideas, thoughts, literature, and so on. Now, it is said that during the early Vedic period, sati system was absent, child marriage was absent, women were allowed to participate in village assemblies like Sabha, Samiti, Gan, Vidhata, and so on. In very simple words, women were active participants in decision-making process. But with the passage of time, there was drastic change in the society. Sati system became prevalent. Child marriage became prevalent. Women were not allowed to gain educational facilities. Caste system became more and more rigid. And it is said that again with the passage of time during the medieval period, there was one more system that was introduced, that was Parda system. By now, there was a middle class intelligentsia around 18th and 19th century. And they felt that before getting rid of the Britishers, first of all, we need to get rid of rudimentary thoughts and traditions, the social evils that were holding our society backwards. And the Renaissance movement began from the region of Bengal. Hence, Indian Renaissance is also referred as Bengal Renaissance. And Raja Ram Mohan Roy, he is called as a pioneer of Renaissance movement in India. He is also called as bridge between the past and the future. He is called as father of Bengal Renaissance, father of modern India, and father of Indian Renaissance. Now, Raja Ram Mohan Roy initially established Atmiya Sabha in 1815. Guys, please listen to me properly, because in the end of every topic, I'll be telling you what sort of questions can crop up in the exam. Okay? So Raja Ram Mohan Roy started what we say Atmiya Sabha in 1815, and the major purpose for establishing Atmiya Sabha was to propagate monotheism. Now, right now, at this point of time, the Indian society was divided on the casteist line, and Raja Ram Mohan Roy started Atmiya Sabha so that all of them can be united here. And now it is said that he said that there is only one God which reigns us above everyone, and that is humanity. Humanism or humanity is above every god. So that is the basic propaganda. That is the basic propaganda of Atmiya Sabha. He also founded Hindu College along with Radhakant Deb to sensitize his teachings, to sensitize the masses about the social evils in the society. For the root eradication of the social evils in the society, he started a Persian magazine, Mirat-ul-Akbar, and he started a Bengal weekly called as Samvad Kaumudi. And the basic purpose was to sensitize the masses against these social evils that were prevalent in our society. It is said that Lord William Bentinck banned sati in India on 4th December 1829. And the major efforts in banning the sati was being taken by Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Now, Raja Ram Mohan Roy was completely in favor of monotheism. As I have explained previously, monotheism basically believes that humanity is above every religion. Humanity is above every caste and God. He also opposed the system of idol worship, and he was completely opposed to the system of empty rites and rituals. Like, he believed that there were certain evils that were prevalent in the Hindu society at that time, and these empty rites and rituals were derogatory for the society. So he completely opposed sacrificial rites and rituals. And it is said that as per Charter Act 1813, Christian missionaries were allowed to come in India and preach Christianity. But in the name of preaching Christianity, they started forceful conversion of people into Christianity. And now Raja Ram Mohan Roy prevented Hinduism and its Upanishad philosophy or Vedantic philosophy from the ignorant attack of Christian missionaries. And he said that Vedant is completely based on logic. Vedant system is completely based on reason. Okay, what is Vedant basically? Vedant is nothing but the principles of Upanishad. Basically, what is the meaning of Upanishad? Sitting near the Guru's feet to gain knowledge, that is Upanishad. So he simply said that Upanishads are quite logical and they also reflect ethical perspectives in the society. I'll give you a very small example. There is one Upanishad called as Chandogya Upanishad. Now Chandogya Upanishad completely believes in the philosophy of ahimsa, that is non-violence. And this philosophy can also be reflected in the society from ethical perspective. That is why he said that Upanishad and Vedantic philosophy are quite what we say logical in nature. He was pioneering journalism because he used journalism as a medium for sensitizing the masses. Okay. Then he was completely opposed to Sanskrit system of education because he believed that Sanskrit was a language which was majorly confined to the upper sections of the society. And now before getting rid of the Britishers, first of all, we need to get rid of rudimentary thoughts and traditions. We need to get rid of the social evils that are holding our society backwards. That is why he was opposed to Sanskrit system of education and he supported Western education. He demanded Indianization of superior services because he believed that civil servants were brought from London and they were working in India. They were hardly aware about the grassroots realities and problems in India. And the people who are working in India, they could prove better for administrative efficiency and effectiveness. That is why he propagated Indianization of superior services. And finally in 1828, he founded Brahmo Samaj along with Dwarkanath Tagore. And the Samaj was based on twin pillars of Vedas and Upanishad. He completely supported Vedas and Upanishad. He also championed the rights of women. Just I had given you an example a while back that on 4th December 1829, Sati was banned in the entire region of Bengal. And the major efforts in banning the Sati was being played by Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Finally, Raja Ram Mohan Roy died at a place called as Bristol in England in 1833 and he died due to meningitis. He also formed Calcutta Unitarian Committee along with Dwarkanath Tagore and William Adams. Now what sort of questions can crop up in the exam? Pay attention properly. Atmiya Sabha was formed by, so it was formed by Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Secondly, what was the major purpose of establishing Atmiya Sabha? The major purpose for establishing Atmiya Sabha was to preach monotheism. Third important aspect, Brahmo Samaj was founded by whom? Brahmo Samaj was founded by Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Then, these are the questions that have cropped up in the prelims exam. Okay. Then, Brahmo Samaj was based on Vedas, Puran, Upanishad. So it is based on Vedas and Upanishads. Now, Raja Ram Mohan Roy was given the title of Raja by one of the Mughal emperor whose name was Akbar II. So Akbar II gave the title of Raja to Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Hope so the points are clear till here, guys. Please let me know. Yes, please. Okay, now let's talk about Devendranath Tagore and Keshab Chandra Sen. Okay, now Devendranath Tagore was son of Dwarkanath Tagore and Dwarkanath Tagore was also one of the co-founders of Brahmo Samaj. Now Devendranath Tagore directly did not join this what we say Brahmo Samaj. Now initially he started Tattva Ranjini Sabha, which was later on called as Tattva Bodhini Sabha. And the major purpose for establishing Tattva Bodhini Sabha was propagating the knowledge of Vedantic philosophy, was propagating the knowledge of Upanishad. And it is said that it was also involved in various socio-religious reform. Now, if you remember guys, just we have talked about Brahmo Samaj. And in Brahmo Samaj, we have studied that the entire movement, okay, of Brahmo Samaj was based on Vedas and Upanishad. And Tattva Bodhini Sabha was also based on Upanishad. So the philosophy of Brahmo Samaj and the philosophy of Tattva Bodhini Sabha to an extent were similar in nature. Isn't that so? So now it is basically said that now later on Tattva Bodhini Sabha also became one of the organizational wings of Brahmo Samaj. Tattva Bodhini School was also established and Akshay Kumar Dutt was appointed as a teacher. Rajendra Lal Mitra, then Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, Tara Chandra Chakravarti were also associated with Tattva Bodhini School. To bring out social reforms in the society and to sensitize the people against various social evils, Tattva Bodhini Patrika was also started. Like as we have studied, Raja Ram Mohan Roy started Miratul Akbar, a Persian magazine, Samvad Kaumudi. Similarly, Tattva Bodhini Patrika was started to sensitize the masses against the various social evils. And finally, in 1843, Devendranath Tagore joined Brahmo Samaj. Later on, Brahmo Samaj was also being joined by Keshab Chandra Sen. Okay, and it is said that it was joined by him in 1857. Now, before joining this, he also formed Friendly Association or Sangat Sabha. Okay, now in Sangat Sabha or Friendly Association, it is said that they were involved in all sorts of philanthropic activities. For example, if the peasants are plagued by famine, flood, earthquake-like situation, so Sangat Sabha of Keshab Chandra Sen would ameliorate the plight of the peasant. They will work for the cause of the peasant. Now, apart from this, they were also involved in various socio-religious reform movements like giving up the caste system. Secondly, one should be truthful and honest. Then one should discard the sacred thread. So Sangat Sabha was involved in socio-religious reform movement. Also, they were involved in various philanthropic activities like helping out the people in epidemics, helping out the people in various natural disaster. Okay, now Veda Samaj in Madras and Prarthana Samaj in Maharashtra, they were quite inspired by Friendly Association or Sangat Sabha. Okay, now they also pioneered for anti-child marriage. Then they were against sati system. They propagated inter-caste marriages and so on. And similarly, like Raja Ram Mohan Roy and Devendranath Tagore, he started his own fortnightly journal, Indian Mirror, to sensitize the masses against the various social evils in the society. Now, Devendranath Tagore wanted to confine the movement majorly related to Hinduism, but Keshab Chandra Sen was quite liberal in his views. Now there were ideological differences between Devendranath Tagore and Keshab Chandra Sen. Now Devendranath Tagore said Brahmoism is Hinduism, and Keshab Chandra Sen believed that Brahmoism is Catholic and universal. And now there was Shiism in Brahmoism. There was break in Brahmo Samaj. The followers of Devendranath Tagore formed Adi Brahmo Samaj, and the followers of Keshab Chandra Sen formed Brahmo Samaj of India or Navavidhan. Because here there was a mix of various ideas. It was a bit more secular in nature. And now, for emancipating the women, for female education and socio-religious reform works in the society, Keshab Chandra Sen also started Indian Reforms Association. This question has been asked in the UPSC Prelims exam. Which among the following leaders started the Indian Reforms Association? So it was being started by Keshab Chandra Sen. But Keshab Chandra Sen made a very big mistake. Like he was campaigning against the child marriage, but he himself married his daughter to Raja of Kuch Bihar. and both were under the age of 14. So here, a person who is framing the law is also violating the law. So in this case, he was heavily criticized for this. And later on, there was again few people who parted away from Navavidhan and started Sadharan Brahmo Samaj. Okay, or Bharatiya Brahmo Samaj. So this is majorly about basically Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Keshab Chandra Sen and Debendranath Tagore. Are the points clear, guys? Please let me know. Yes, please. Yes, Mona Lisa. Good evening. Now let's talk about the Young Bengal movement. Okay. Henry Vivian Derizio, he was the founder of Young Bengal movement. And he was an Anglo-Indian teacher, specifically he was an Irish person. And he was a teacher at Hindu college. And he was quite inspired by the French Revolution. Now, I'll give you a small glimpse of this. Now, the French society was majorly divided into three sections: clergy, noblers, and commoner. Clergy, like it is said that the upper two sections, that is the clergy or the priest or the king basically, and secondly the noblemen, their population was approximately around 2 to 3%, and the population of the commoners was around 97%. Clergy and noblers, whose population was approximately around 2 to 3%, held 80 to 85% of the land in France. And the commoners, whose population was 97%, held 15% of the property, wealth and land in the France. Now these 2 to 3% were exempted from payment of any sort of taxes. And 97% of the people or the commoners had to bear the brunt of taxes. They had to pay majority of the taxes. Now what happened? Some or the other day they are going to revolt. And this is nothing but literally a crux of French Revolution. Now there were various ideas that cropped up from French Revolution, like liberty, equality, fraternity, free thinking. All these ideas have cropped up from the French Revolution. And now this person, Henry Vivian Derizio, he drew inspiration from the French Revolution. And he asked the people of India that before getting rid of the Britishers, first of all, we need to move away from the decadent old traditions. And when we will move away from the decadent old traditions, we will be filled up with enthusiastic zeal. And then we can question the higher authorities. Because freedom of speech and expression is the right of everyone. He was completely opposed to caste system. He was opposed to empty rites and rituals. That is superstitious activity. He was opposed to idol worship. Okay. And his followers are referred as Derizouad. Now what were their major demands? Let us understand. Inductions of Indian into the higher services. Now, it is said that Lord Cornwallis, he is called as the father of civil services in India, but he majorly focused on Europeanization of civil services. That is, only Europeans could be inducted into the civil services and no Indian could be inducted into the civil services. Okay, so now he believed that these people are working in India, they are working on Indian soil and they are working for Indians. They are framing rules and regulation, policies and law for the Indians, and no Indians are inducted into the civil services. This is a sort of injustice towards Indian. So he demanded induction of Indian into the higher services. Then there was one system we have discussed previously, Zamindari system or permanent settlement. Under Zamindari system or permanent settlement, Zamindar acted as a middleman between company on one side and peasant on the other side. Okay. Now, Zamindar collected the revenue from the peasant and gave it to the company. Now it is said that 89% of the revenue went to the company and 11% was kept by the zamindar. Apart from this, zamindar also extracted more amount of money from the peasant. So this exactions made by the zamindar should be compulsorily stopped. Then, better treatment of Indian laborers abroad. I'll give you a very small example. Like majorly there were two types of laborer, indentured laborer and ex-indentured laborer. Now indentured laborers are those who have been hired from various parts of India and Southeast Asian countries, and they are taken to various countries and they are working as contract labor in the plantation field. They are living in a very derogatory condition. For example, even if they have to come out of their home to buy a bread, they had to carry a passport size document. They had to work for 11 to 14 hours. Even the women had to work for 9 to 10 hours. Children below the age of 9 years had to work minimum for 7 hours. So very derogatory condition was there of the laborers that were working abroad. So they demanded better treatment of Indian laborers working abroad, freedom of press and revision of companies charter. Law depends completely upon the exigencies of time and circumstances, and law should change according to this time and circumstances. That is why they demanded revision of companies charter. Companies like Act should be revised with the passage of time, so that if any flaw has cropped up in that flaw could be removed. And now Derosuans formed Academic Association in Hindu College and Umacharan Basu was its secretary. They also formed Society for Acquisition of General Knowledge, and it is said that Tara Chandra Chakrabarti was its president. This person, Henry Vivian Derizio, he died at the age of 22 and he died because of meningitis. Okay? Got the points clear, guys? So this is majorly about Henry Vivian Derizio. Yes, Pragya, laborers were of two type. Okay, but Memon Muslims were majorly involved in business. So did you get the points clear, Pragya? Are the points clear till here, guys? Okay. Dharma Sabha was completely against the Brahmo Samaj. Why it was against the Brahmo Samaj? Because although Brahmo Samaj focused on Vedas and Upanishad, but their nature or the pattern of working of Brahmo Samaj was quite liberal in nature. Okay. Now Radhakant Deb was that is why he was completely opposed to Brahmo Samaj, because he was a very conservative Hindu, and he majorly said that women can only be emancipated if they are given education. So he pioneered women education. He promoted women education. He also formed Calcutta School Book Society and Agricultural and Horticultural Society of India. So please remember these associations and organizations. There have been questions that have cropped up in the exam. Who founded Agricultural and Horticultural Society of India to transform the agricultural system in India? So it was Radhakant Deb, who was also the founder of Dharma Sabha. Who started Calcutta School Book Society and pioneered women education? So it was Radhakant Deb, who is also associated with Dharma Sabha. Okay. So are the points clear, guys? These are the major movements which are confined in the region of Eastern India. Hope so the points are clear. Yes, please. Okay. Now let's talk about justice movement. Now justice movement, it's a non-Brahmin movement. Okay. And it was majorly started by T.M. Nair, Tyagaraja Chetiyar and Raja of Panangal. And what was their major purpose of justice movement? The major purpose of justice movement was As per them, like it is said that Brahmins were majorly given the preference in the higher services, and Brahmins were also given the preferences in provincial Congress committee. Like for example, Indian National Congress was formed in 1885 at a place called as Gokuldas Tejpal Sanskrit College. But now, as per them, all the major posts were being hijacked by the Brahmins. So, it is believed that as per justice movement, like it is said that any designation on any post should be completely reserved on the basis of what? On the basis of merit. But here to an extent, there was a casteist movement that was going on. So that is why these people formed South Indian Liberation Federation, which later on came to be called as Justice Party. And to propagate their ideas, they started a non-Brahmin manifesto. Basically they demanded the jobs or representation for non-Brahmin in the government jobs. Representation to the non-Brahmins basically in the provincial Congress committee. So probably this can be said as the first cohesive demand for reservation in India. And the first cohesive demand for reservation in India was being started by the Justice Movement or the Justice Party. It is originally called as South Indian Liberation Federation. To sensitize their ideas, to sensitize the masses, to spread the principles, they started their own newspaper called as Justice. Okay? Now, they were successful in passing a government order for which non-Brahmins were also given the reservations, or they were also allotted a particular quota in the government jobs. So this is majorly about the justice movement. There was a question in the UPSC Prelims exam, which among the following leaders were a participant in the justice movement? T.M. Nair, Tyagaraja and Raja of Panangal. All of the three were the major participants in the justice movement. They played a very major role in sensitizing the masses in southern part of India. So this is majorly about the justice movement. Are the points clear, guys? Please let me know. Okay, now self-respect movement. Please pay attention properly. Now, why this movement is called as self-respect movement? Because, like it is said that a particular section of the society remained the repressed section of the society just because in perpetuity. The reason behind that, to an extent, there was a neglect of this section of the society. There was no educational development. There was no economic development. There was no social development. And there was no root eradication of untouchability. And from this onwards, basically, a self-respect movement was started. The pioneer of the self-respect movement was E.V. Ramaswamy Naikar. And he is also called as Periyar. Okay? E.V. Ramaswamy Naikar. And he is also referred as Periyar. Now, initially, he was a part of Provincial Congress Committee. But in 1924, he thought that basically the Provincial Congress Committees or the major Congress Committee are being majorly hijacked by the upper section of the society. So he left Provincial Congress Committee and basically he started self-respect movement. To sensitize the masses, he started a journal called as Kudi Arasu. Please remember the journal. Very, very important from the exam perspective. This was asked in the exam. Kudi Arasu, a journal was being started by whom? So Kudi Arasu, a journal was being started by E.V. Ramaswamy Naikar to sensitize the masses. He is also called as Periyar. And now he started various programs under self-respect movement. First of all, wedding without Brahmin priest. Like it was nothing but a system of social boycott that was being adopted. Now it is said that the untouchables were not allowed to enter the temples. So he started forcible temple entry. Outright atheism at times. Atheism basically means belief in no God. Okay, he said that the major God, like God, resides in everyone, and it is our responsibility to respect each and every one. There is no religion above humanity. There is no caste above humanity. There is no subcaste above humanity. So humanity or humanism is the ultimate religion. And if humanity cannot be respected, he completely believed in atheism. That is outright rejection of gods at times. Okay? He was opposed to child marriage. He was opposed to sati system. He was opposed to forced widowhood. And in fact, to remove the caste system and the casteist outlook from the minds of the people, he started giving secular name to the newborn babies so that people won't be judging anyone on the basis of caste. Okay? He is also called as Indian Socrates or Socrates of South Asia, and he is also associated with Dravid Kazhagam. There was a question in the UPSC Prelims exam, which among the following leaders is also referred as Periyar. So it is E.V. Ramaswamy Naikar who is also referred as Periyar. And E.V. Ramaswamy Naikar is also associated with self-respect movement. Another important question. Kudi Arasu was a journal initiated by. Kudi Arasu was a journal initiated by E.V. Ramaswamy Naikar. So this is majorly about the self-respect movement. Are the points clear, guys? Please let me know. Yes, please. Okay. Now let's get started with Ezava movement or Sree Narayana Dharma Paripalan Yogam. Okay. Now, the Ezavas are majorly the untouchables of Kerala, and they are the single largest group in the region of Kerala. Now it is said that they are majorly involved in activities like toddy tapping. What is toddy tapping? You might have seen that it is a process of making liquor. You might have heard about the word toddy. So basically, this movement was initiated by a member of Ezava family whose name was Narayan Guru. He is also called as Nanu Asan. Since this movement majorly began from the region of Eravipuram, the Ezava movement is also referred as Eravipuram movement. Now it is said that once upon a time, Narayan Guru was passing by a nearby region and he observed that there was one person who was climbing the steps of a temple. He was not allowed to enter into the temple, and now he installed an idol of Lord Shiva. Okay, and he said that basically it is not necessary you go into the temple to worship a god. Okay, first thing that we need to learn is respecting the humanity. And from now onwards, since this incident took place at a place called as Aravipuram, this movement is also called as Aravipuram movement. And now he started a drastic reforms in the society. The major role that is played in transforming the society is being played by education. Pen and paper are the major tools for transforming the society. And now he started educating the Ezavas. Like it is said that the education can play a very major role, a very dynamic and drastic role in transforming the society. And for this he started Sree Narayana Dharma Paripalan Yogam. And on what issues did it focus? First of all, education is the right of everyone. And if you want root eradication of social evils from the society, we need to educate people. And for this, Ezava should be allowed to go into the public school. They should be inducted into the higher services, because once there is induction into the higher services, there would be social upliftment, and if there is social upliftment, automatically there would be economic upliftment. So can you believe that how education plays a very transformative role in the society? Education leads to economic upliftment, and economic upliftment leads to social upliftment. Okay. Now, Ezava movement was later on joined by Dr. Palpu. He is also called as Kumaran Asan. Okay. Now Kumaran Asan, he was the first person from Ezhava community to receive education, Western education specifically, and in the field of medicine. Okay, and the followers of Ezhava movement believed in only one thing. There is only one God, one caste, and one religion. And what is that? Humanity. Because God resides within every human being. And if person does not respect humanity, how can he respect God? So there is only one God, one caste, and one religion. So this is majorly about the Ezhava movement. Did you understand this, guys? Please let me know. There have been questions in the exam, guys. Okay. Now let's talk about Vaikom Satyagraha. Now Vaikom Satyagraha started from the region of Travancore in Kerala, and majorly the system was against the untouchability. If you remember the self-respect movement, there we have spoken about allowing the untouchables to enter into the temples, because initially they were not allowed to enter into the temples. So this was majorly against the movement. Vaikom Satyagraha is majorly against this. So it is said that it is centered around the Shiva temple. Like the untouchables were not allowed to enter into the temples. And now there was a strong demand for opening the temples to everyone. Okay, irrespective of the caste, irrespective of the subcaste, irrespective of the, what we say, lineages. And now the pioneering role was being played by K. Kelappan. K. Kelappan also played a very pioneering role in Guruvayur Satyagraha, which is also called as Salt Satyagraha, which was initiated by M.K. Gandhi around 1930s. Okay, during the civil disobedience movement, M.K. Gandhi had also started Dandi March or Salt Satyagraha. And when the Salt Satyagraha was successful, M.K. Gandhi asked various leaders or various nationalists all over India to break the salt law. And in the region of Kerala, a very pioneering role was being played by K. Kelappan. It is said that he broke his fast on the insistence of M.K. Gandhi. So Vaikom Satyagraha is nothing but a sort of temple entry movement in the region of Kerala. To be very specific, in the region of Kottayam. Okay. Are the points clear, guys? Are you remembering the names? Are you remembering the associations and the newspapers that have been started? Guys, because there have been questions in the exam. I understand this is factual in nature, a bit difficult to remember, but you have to remember this because there have been questions from the perspective of prelims. Okay? Okay. Nadar movement. Now, Nadar movement was majorly in Ramanatha district of Tamil Nadu, to be specific, the northern part of the Tamil Nadu. Now, Nadars around 17th and 18th century, they were a class of toddy tappers and agricultural laborers. Okay, as I've told you, what is toddy tapping? That is making a liquor basically. I have just used the word toddy. But later on during the 19th century, Nadars became a mercantile class and they started imitating upper caste customs and traditions. That is majorly the customs of Kshatriyas. Okay. And now it is said that this process is also called as Sanskritization. Sanskritization is majorly the process of imitating the traditions and the customs of the upper caste. Okay. Now it is said that Nadars, now they started accepting the titles like Nadars. Nadars is a Kshatriya title. Okay. And they formed Nadar Mahajan Sangam. And Nadar Mahajan Sangam started raising funds for the upliftment of Nadar. And one of the basic tenet for the upliftment, as I have told you previously, is education system. Education system has the power for drastic reformation in the society. And now the association was open for male and female member or subcaste or religion of Nadar. And now they collected fund. Now they started using this fund basically for educational upliftment. And educational upliftment is co-linked to what? Social upliftment. Sorry, economic upliftment. And economic upliftment is co-linked to social upliftment. So, in very simple words, what was the purpose of forming Nadar Mahajan Sangam? The basic purpose for forming Nadar Mahajan Sangam was upliftment of the Nadar community. And similar like Nadar movement is Palli movement. Now Palli movement is in the southern part of Tamil Nadu. Nadar movement was in northern part of Tamil Nadu. Now they started claiming Vanya Kul Kshatriya status and they started imitating upper caste customs and tradition. And this is called as nothing but Sanskritization to climb the higher ladder in the in the caste system. So this is called as Nadar movement and Palli movement. So did you get the Nadar movement and Palli movement, guys? Please let me know. Yes, please. Okay. Now let's talk about Nair movement. Now Nair movement was majorly confined in the region of Travancore, Kerala. Now there are Nambudiri Brahmins in the region of Kerala and they consider Nair as Shudras. Okay. And now against this C.V. Raman Pillai started a movement that is called as Nair movement. And the major purpose for Nair movement was Brahmin predominance in the government job, or the dominance of the Brahmins in the higher services or the superior services or provincial congress committee. So against this, C.V. Raman Pillai started Nair movement. And he also wrote a historical novel, Martanda Varma. Later on, the movement was being joined by K. Ramakrishna Pillai and M. Padmanabha Pillai. Okay. Now K. Ramakrishna Pillai, like it is said that he started a newspaper called as Swadesh Abhiman. And the major purpose for starting this newspaper Swadesh Abhiman was basically to sensitize the masses that until and unless one is going to fight for his right, he cannot expect others to fight for his rights. That is why, to sensitize the masses against the Brahmin predominance in the government job, he started Swadesh Abhiman. Please remember this. It has been asked in the UPSC Prelims exam, which among the following leaders started Swadesh Abhiman? So it was being started by K. Ramakrishna Pillai. Okay. Later on, M. Padmanabha Pillai, he started Nair Service Society. And what was the purpose of Nair Service Society? Political, social and political advancement of Nair. Very simple words. First of all, eradicating all sorts of social evils that were holding the Nairs backward. And second important aspect, political advancement of Nair. And how will the political advancement work? By inculcating the Nairs into the higher services. By inculcating the Nairs basically into the government job, in the provincial congress committees and so on. So the pioneer of the movement was C.V. Raman Pillai. Then M. Padmanabha Pillai and K. Ramakrishna Pillai, they later on joined the movement. N. Padmanabha Pillai, he started Nair Service Society for, in very simple words, for socio-political upliftment of the Nairs. And K. Ramakrishna Pillai started Swadesh Abhiman. And what was the purpose for starting Swadesh Abhiman? One should develop a Abhiman, one should develop a pride in themselves. Okay, this is majorly about the Nair movement. Did you get the points clear, my friends? Please let me know. Yes, please. Are the points clear? I understand these names are a bit difficult to memorize, like who started Swadesh Abhiman, who started Indian Mirror, who started Samvad Kaumudi, but my friends, time and again there have been questions in the UPSC exam. And as I've told you right in the start of the session, that this session would be a bit factual in nature. And you have to remember this from the exam perspective. Okay? Yes, Pragya, Guruvayur Satyagraha and Vaikom Satyagraha are different. Guruvayur Satyagraha is related with salt movement, which was initiated by M.K. Gandhi during the Dandi March. And Vaikom Satyagraha is the reformation in the society. Okay? Hope so, Pragya, the point is clear? Okay. Again, Vokkaliga Sangh. It is a movement in the region of Karnataka, specifically Mysore, and it is an anti-Brahmin movement. Okay? And what is the purpose? The major thing is Brahmin predominance in the government jobs, Brahmin predominance in the provincial Congress committee. And for the upliftment of the Vokkaliga community, that is social, educational, political, cultural and economic upliftment, Vokkaliga Sangh was formed here. Did you get the points about the entire movement of Southern India? We have seen Eastern India, we have seen Southern India. Did you get the points? Please let me know. Guys, I will give you 1 minute time to please revise all the things, because it's quite factual in nature, and until and unless you go for revision, you will be forgetting each and everything. So please revise. I'll give you 1 minute. Okay, please revise the things, guys. Okay, now let's talk about the movement which are spread on pan-India basis, that is all over India. Okay. Now let's talk about Arya Samaj. Now, Swami Dayanand Saraswati was the founder of Arya Samaj, and Arya Samaj was formed at Bombay in 1875. The original name of Swami Dayanand Saraswati was Mool Shankar, and he was a brahmachari throughout his life. Now it is said that he learned the teachings or interpretation of Vedas from a blind scholar whose name was Swami Virchanand. And there is a famous slogan associated with what we say Swami Dayanand Saraswati: back to Vedas, and Vedas are eternal and infallible. You might have heard about these quote or these slogans that are given by Swami Dayanand Saraswati: back to Vedas, and what? Second is Vedas are eternal and infallible. Now he said that Vedas are completely based on logic. I'll give you a very small example. Rig Ved. In Rig Ved, there have been mention of various nature gods like Varun, water god, Vayu, wind god, Surya, sun god. Samved. The origin of Indian music can be traced to Samved. Yajurved. Yajurved is also related with the art of warfare. And there are various Upved of Yajurved like Shilpaved and Sthapatyaved, which are associated with architecture. Then comes Atharvaved. Now, it is also called as Book of Medicine. So here he says that Vedas are eternal and infallible and source of all the knowledge. Okay, this sentence might be exaggerated, but he has given this statement. He has said that Aryans were the chosen people, Vedas the chosen gospel, and India's the chosen land. Now, he was completely opposed to all sorts of post-Vedic development. Like he did not believe in the concept of Puran. Like Puran are nothing but post-Vedic development, and he was completely opposed to Puran. Okay, he was opposed to idol worship, priesthood, reincarnation theory. Okay, but he accepted karma theory. Guys, we have seen in Buddhism, Jainism and Hinduism as well about the karma theory. What does the 4 dots in the swastik symbolize? The 4 dots in the swastik symbolizes the status of our soul depending upon the stock of our karmas. If I have done good karmas throughout my life, my soul might be in heaven or I might be reborn as a human being. If I have performed bad karmas throughout my life, my soul might be in hell or I might be reborn as a lower being. So the status of my soul completely depends upon the stock of my karmas. So he did believe in the karma theory. He was supporting the caste system, but he said that caste should not be on the basis of birth. Caste should be on the basis of what? Merit. Okay. He called Vedas as Indian rock of ages. Now, his Arya Samaj was not only involved in socio-religious reform activity, they were also helping the people in various natural disasters, like in any epidemic, flood, famine, earthquake, and so on. Okay, he fixed the minimum marriageable age of 25 years for boys and 16 years for girls. This was a statement in the UPSC Prelims exam. And what was the statement? The minimum marriageable age for boys was 21 years, and for girls was 18 years. This statement is wrong. The minimum marriageable age as per Arya Samaj for boys was 25 years and for girls was 16 years. Okay. Now, he also started Cow Protection Association. Please note this down. It is not being mentioned here. Okay. It is mentioned here. He also started Cow Protection Association and he also started Shuddhi movement. Please remember the Shuddhi movement. Very, very important. And what is Shuddhi movement all about? Now, as I have told you, as per Charter Act 1813, Christian missionaries were allowed to come in India and preach Christianity. Now, in the name of preaching Christianity, there was forceful conversion into Christianity. I'll give you a very simple example. Britishers had come up with one act called as Religious Disabilities Act. As per this act, a person who is not accepting Christianity, he cannot inherit his ancestral property. And his ancestral property would be hijacked by Britishers. Okay, so people were forced to convert into Christianity. Now, Arya Samaj started, or Swami Dayananda Saraswati, under the banner of Arya Samaj, started what? He started Shuddhi movement. Those people who were willingly or unwillingly converted into Christianity, or for that sake any other religion, and now are willingly coming back into the fold of Hinduism. Okay, now they can, what we say basically, enroll into Hinduism again. This is nothing but Shuddhi movement. And he started Cow Protection Association. He also, basically it is said that he started English, he also supported to an extent English education. That is why it is called as DAV, Dayanand Anglo-Vedic School. Now there were 2 sections here. Okay. One section was led by Swami Shraddhanand after the death of Swami Dayananda Saraswati. On the issue of education, Arya Samaj was divided into 2 sections. One supported Western education and the other supported traditional Sanskrit system of education. Now, Swami Shraddhanand, he supported traditional system, that is Gurukul system, and the first Gurukul was established at Haridwar. Now only boys were allowed here to gain education. And later on there was another section which was led by Lala Lajpat Rai, Lala Hansraj. They are called as college section. And now they supported English education. And now education would be imparted to both boys and girls. And there was establishment of DAV, that is Dayanand Anglo-Vedic School. And the first DAV was established at Lahore. First Gurukul was established at which place? Just I have told you, Haridwar. So this is majorly about Arya Samaj and Swami Dayananda Saraswati. Hope so the points are clear, my friends. Please let me know. Before this, what sort of questions are asked? Who started Cow Protection Association? It is Swami Dayanand Saraswati. Shuddhi movement was initiated by. India's Rock of Ages was a statement given by. So it is Swami Dayanand Saraswati. Hope so the points are clear, my friends. Please let me know. Okay, now let's talk about Ramakrishna Paramhans and Swami Vivekanand ji. Now, Ramakrishna Paramhans, okay, it is said that he was the guru. His original name is Gangadhar Chattopadhyay, and he was the guru of Swami Vivekanand, who is also called as Narendranath Dutt. Now, Ramakrishna Paramhans was the worshipper of goddess Kali at Dakshineshwar temple in Calcutta. And now Vivekanand had learned all his Vedantic philosophy, all his philosophy related to Upanishad from his guru. And his guru was Ramakrishna Paramhans, who is also called as Gangadhar Chattopadhyay. Okay? Now, this person, Swami Vivekanand ji, he attended World Parliament of Religions for 2 times. And for the first time, he attended the World Parliament of Religions at Chicago. I'll give you an example of a simple incident that took place. Now, when he was attending World Parliament of Religions at Chicago, he met another person who was propagating one religion, and they were there in the library, and he was scrolling down, he was checking down, Swami Vivekanand ji was checking down the books that are kept in the library. Now, the other person asked him one simple question, that although you are propagating Hinduism, Bhagavad Gita is placed at the lower ladder of the shelf. What a wonderful reply given by Swami Vivekanand ji. And what was that? Only Bhagavad Gita has a power to hold the other religions, or to hold it has a strength to hold the other religion on its shoulder. Such a wonderful reply given by Swami Vivekanand ji. It is said that when he attended the second Parliament of Religion, he was being his sister also accompanied him, Nivedita. And Nivedita said that when Swami Vivekanand ji used to speak on Hinduism, it feels like Hinduism was born today. And his entire philosophy is based on Vedantic philosophy. Vedantic philosophy is nothing but philosophy based on Upanishad. Upanishad basically means sitting near the Guru's feet to gain knowledge. Now, when he came to India, he toured the entire nation. And after touring the entire nation, or after visiting different places in India, he wrote a book called as Vartaman Bharat, Present India. This question has been asked in the UPSC Prelims exam. Which among the following nationalists wrote Vartaman Bharat, or Present India? It was written by Swami Vivekanand ji. Okay? And he completely rejected the caste system. He completely rejected the empty rites and rituals and the ceremonies that were prevalent in the Indian society. Okay? Now, Ramakrishna Mutt was started by his own guru. That is Ramakrishna Paramhans. But Ramakrishna Mission was started by whom? Ramakrishna Mission was started by Swami Vivekanand ji. Now, Swami Vivekanand ji, like he said that there should be a balance that needs to be maintained between materialism and spirituality. And people need to imbibe the habit of liberty, equality and free thinking. Because until and unless these free thoughts are imbibed in a person, okay, he cannot revolt against a tyrannical rule. So he was also inspired from the principles of French Revolution. And he is also called as a preacher of Neo-Hinduism. Neo-Hinduism means new pattern and principles of Hinduism, which is completely based on liberal ideas. Okay. So these are the contributions of the Ramakrishna Mission. Please go through this. It is nothing but similar like the previous movement. That is drastic transformation in the society. socio-religious reform movement or socio-religious reformation in the society. Okay guys, please go through it. Okay. Now let's talk about Theosophical Society. Now, Theosophical Society, it is also a pan-India movement, and it was majorly initiated in New York in 1875. And how it became famous in India, let us understand this. It was started by an American colonel, Olcott, and a Russian lady, Blavatsky, and it was started in New York in 1875, and was majorly started with three major perspectives. First of all, universal brotherhood of man. First thing that we need to understand here is, and I'm time and again repeating this point, that humanism reigns above each and every religion or caste, and humanity is the ultimate religion. So here universal brotherhood of man was one of their objective. To promote the study of ancient religion and philosophy and mystic potencies of life, like rather it be Hinduism, rather it be Christianity, rather it be Zoroastrianism, rather it be Sikhism, rather it be Islam, or for that sake any other religion of the world. Each and every religion preaches peace. Each and every religion preaches philanthropy. Each and every religion preaches, what we say, helping out the others. So, first thing that we need to understand is study the ancient religions. Okay? Now, the founders of Theosophical Society came in India in 1879, and they established their headquarters at Adayar near Madras. And they wanted to preach the same principles that they had there in their objective. And finally, in 1888, Annie Besant arrived in India, and Annie Besant was made as head of Theosophical Society in India. My friends, Annie Besant was not the founder of Theosophical Society. She later on joined the Theosophical Society, and when Theosophical Society came in India, she was made as the head of Theosophical Society here. And now the works done by the society were quite different in India. First of all, to promote the spirit of nationalism among Indian. What is the meaning of the word nation? There is something called as state and there is something called as nation. State is nothing but the political boundaries of a country, and nation is nothing but feeling of belongingness towards one country. That is nation. And first of all, our Indian society has been distinguished on the basis of religion, on the basis of culture, on the basis of caste. So first of all, we need to get united against the common enemy. And for that, we need to develop a nationalistic fervor, a feeling of nationalism, a feeling of patriotism. The society also did a very commendable work in the field of education. Now, society opened school for boys, women, depressed classes, and encouraged the Boy Scout movement. They were against the abolition of caste system, then amelioration of the condition of the widows, and so on. And Annie Besant was also one of the co-founders of Banaras Hindu University. Majorly it was founded by Madan Mohan Malviya. So initially when it was founded in New York, it had different objective. But when it came in India, its objective was majorly drastic reformation in the society. So this is majorly about the Theosophical movement. Did you understand this, guys? Please let me know. These are the movement on pan-India basis. Okay? Okay, now let's talk about Satyashodhak Samaj. Satya means truth. Shodhak means finding the truth. So it is also called as Truth Seekers Society, and it was formed in Maharashtra. Okay, Now, the pioneering role here was being played by Jyotiba Phule. Now, he belonged to Mali community. Mali community is nothing but a gardener community. So, he belonged to Mali community. And what was a major purpose for establishing Satyashodhak Samaj? Same thing. First of all, drastic reformation in the society, upliftment of the depressed section of the society, and spreading the education among the lower caste men and women. He also pioneered the widow remarriage. Okay. Now, basically they said that to sensitize the masses about this, he wrote two critical works, that is Sarvajanik Satya Dharma Pustak and Gulamgiri. Okay, I repeat, he started Gulamgiri and Sarvajanik Satya Dharma Pustak to sensitize the masses. Like it is said that he also started first girls school in Pune, and he was supported by his wife in that. Okay guys, so there was a question in the UPSC Prelims exam, which among the following leaders started Gulamgiri? So which among the following leaders wrote the critical work Gulamgiri? It was written by Jyotiba Phule. Who wrote Sarvajanik Satya Dharma Pustak? It was written by Jyotiba Phule. Hope so the points are clear, guys. Please let me know. Now let's talk about B.R. Ambedkar. Okay. Now, what are the chronology of the activities? My friends, there can be a probable question in the UPSC Prelims exam about the chronology of the various activities associated with B.R. Ambedkar. Okay. So please pay proper attention. Now, first thing. Bahishkrit Hitkarni Sabha. Okay, that is Depressed Class Institute. Now, B.R. Ambedkar initially started a Depressed Class Institute. We are studying all the things from the perspective of prelims. Now, we are majorly targeting on the objective approach, guys. Okay, for the mains, I have covered a detailed section in a different manner. We are majorly targeting here the prelims, a very targeted approach. Okay, guys. So, he started initially Depressed Class Institute, and later on he started a magazine called as Bahishkrit Bharat or Janta to sensitize the masses about the condition and the plight of depressed classes, to create a gospel of equality among the society, because he believed that everyone belonged to the same religion, that is Hinduism. And just on the basis of few tenets and principles, we have divided the entire Hindu society into various caste and sub-caste. And to create the gospel of social equality, to preach the gospel of social equality, he started Samaj Samata Sangh. Then he experimented with Mahar Satyagraha. Like initially it is said that the untouchables or the depressed classes were not allowed entry into the temple, or they were not allowed to fetch water from the public well. So for this, he started Mahar Satyagraha, then Parvati Temple Satyagraha and Kalaram Mandir Satyagraha. Kalaram Mandir is located in Nasik, Maharashtra. Okay. Now, in 1936, okay, initially he focused on social reforms. Then he focused on educational reform. And now he is majorly focusing on political reform. Now, there was Government of India Act 1935, and on the basis of Government of India Act 1935, elections were to be held in 1936. Now, Independent Labour Party was formed by B.R. Ambedkar in 1936, and it played a very dynamic and exemplary role in the elections that were held in 1936. Later on, he formed Scheduled Caste Federation of India and People's Education Society. So he started from social reform, then he moved on to political reform, and finally he believed that the main thing that can drastically transform the society is education system. So he came up with People's Education Society. Okay, so please remember the chronology. It's very, very important from the exam perspective. Initially, Bahishkrit Hitkarni Sabha. Then magazines like Bahishkrit Bharat and Janta. Then to preach the gospel of social equality, he started Samaj Samta Sangh. Then the depressed classes should be allowed entry into the temples, and secondly, the depressed classes should be allowed to fetch water from the public well. So he started Mahad Satyagraha, Parvati Temple Satyagraha, and Kalaram Mandir Satyagraha. Later on, for the political representation, he started Independent Labour Party in 1936. Later on, he started what we say Social Caste Federation of India, Scheduled Caste Federation of India. And finally, for the educational upliftment, he started People's Education Society. Are the points clear, guys? Please let me know. Did you remember the chronology? Did you understand the chronology? Okay, now let's talk about Paramhans Mandali. Now Paramhans Mandali, it's a socio-religious reform group in the region of Bombay, specifically Maharashtra. Okay, now the founder of Paramhans Mandali was Dadoba Pandurang and Bal Shastri Jambekar. I repeat, Dadoba Pandurang and Bal Shastri Jambekar. And Bal Shastri Jambekar is also called as father of Marathi journalism. Okay, now Dadoba Pandurang was initially associated with a socio-religious reform group, Manav Dharma Sabha, which was quite active in the region of Gujarat, specifically in the region of Surat. Now he left Manav Dharma Sabha and now he created his own organization, that is Paramhans Mandali. And to preach his ideas on socio-religious reforms, he wrote a book called as Dharma Vivechan. This question can be asked in the prelims exam. Dharma Vivechan was written by, so it was written by Dadoba Pandurang, and Dadoba Pandurang was associated with Paramhans Mandali. Now, in this book, he has highlighted the principles, like they believed in one God, and what was that? Humanity. They broke the caste rule. They focused on women's education and widow remarriage, because sati system was holding our society backwards. That is why he also focused on widow remarriage. And one more thing, usually the meetings of Paramhans Mandali was held in the evening, and the food cooked by lower caste people were eaten by everyone. So this creates a cultural unity among the people of India. So this is about Paramhans Mandali of Maharashtra. Hope so the points are clear, my friends. Please let me know. Okay, Servants of India Society. Please remember the name, Servants of India. So it's a voluntary organization. Okay. Now this organization was started in Pune by Gopal Krishna Gokhale. Now it is said that Gopal Krishna Gokhale ji was initially a part of Deccan Education Society, which was created by Bal Gangadhar Tilak ji as well. So now he left Deccan Education Society and formed Servants of India Society, and he was supported by many other nationalists as well, like Appaji Dravid, Anant Patwardhan, B.N. Rao, and many more. Okay, now what was a major role being played by Servants of India Society? They launched campaign for sensitizing the masses, like they promoted education, they focused on health and sanitary conditions, they were against alcoholism, because alcoholism was one of the major cause for domestic violence and domestic abuse in the rural areas. Okay, they were completely opposed to the system of poverty. Okay, now for this they had created a cadre of selfless worker, and this cadre of selfless worker, now these cadre of selfless worker were trained in various field. Okay, they were trained in various field, because for sensitizing the masses, first of all, you need to be given proper training. And Servants of Indian Society was involved in that. Okay, now to sensitize the masses, they had started their own publication called as Hitwad, and Hitwad was basically published from the region of from Nagpur. Although the headquarters of the society was in Pune, but the publication Hitwad, which was utilized for sensitizing the masses, was started from Nagpur. And after the death of Gopal Krishna Gokhale ji, Srinivas Sastri took over the presidentship of Servants of India Society. So this is majorly about Servants of India Society. Hope so the points are clear, my friends. Yes, please. Now let's talk about Social Service League. Okay. Now, before bringing in any drastic reformation in the society, first of all, we need to study the society. Or first of all, we need to study the root cause of social evils that are what we say prevalent in the society. Then one needs to collect the data on that. One needs to analyze the data, and later on the things needs to be implemented in a proper manner. Isn't that so? So this was the pioneering role that was being played by Social Service League. Now Social Service League was initiated by Narayan Malhar Joshi in Bombay. Okay, and they collected and studied the data, analyzed the data, and then they started root eradication of social evils or social problems that were prevalent in the society. Then the league also started day and night school, library, then Boy Scout movement for sensitizing the masses in India. And Narayan Malhar Joshi was also one of the pioneering leaders in All India Trade Union Congress movement in 1920. Whom, like the first session of the All India Trade Union Congress was presided by Lala Lajpat Rai ji. But the pioneering role was being played by Narayan Malhar Joshi, who is also the founder of Social Service League. Okay, friends. Just now we have discussed about Deccan Education Society. Now this movement or this organization is located in Pune, Maharashtra. Vishnu Shastri Chiplunkar, Bal Gangadhar Tilak. They initially formed what we say New English School. Later on, this New English School got converted into Deccan Education Society, and Deccan Education Society was later on got converted into Fergusson College. So the pioneering role in formation of Deccan Education Society was being played by whom? The pioneering role in formation of Deccan Education Society was being played by Vishnu Shastri Chiplunkar and Bal Gangadhar Tilak. Yes guys, are the points clear? Please let me know. Okay. Now for today guys, I'll be stopping here itself. Okay. This is Socio-Religious Reform Movements Part 1. And certain part I'll be covering day after tomorrow. Because why I'm covering these parts day after tomorrow? Because these sessions are factual in nature. And we'll be studying something conceptual. And after studying for 2 to 3 days on conceptual topics, again I'll be continuing with what? I'll be continuing with the factual part of the Renaissance and socio-religious reform movement. Okay guys, did you understand till Deccan Education Society? Please let me know any query, any question, any sort of doubt. Please ask me. Yes, please. Yes, guys. Okay, so I'll stop my session here. So please do subscribe to Unacademy and use my code AKOUS. I repeat the code AKOUS. Thank you and have a very, very nice day. Tomorrow I'll be coming up with a new topic apart from Renaissance. And after 2 to 3 days, we'll be completing the Renaissance part as well. Okay?